In a classic Pokemon game, the player has to battle trainers, but doing this over and over again can become pretty tedious. So what if I could automate the process with an AI? Then, that got me wondering, how good could I make this AI at trainer battles? To answer this question, I built an AI consisting of over 3,000 lines of code, and I'm going to find out if it can assert its dominance over the trainer AI in FireRed by not just beating the game, but a hardcore Nuzlocke of it. Here are the rules of the challenge. If a Pokemon faints, it can't be used anymore in battle. Only the first Pokemon of an area can be caught, and static or gift Pokemon count as the encounter for an area. Battles have to be on set mode. Non-Pokeball items can't be used in battle, but my Pokemon can hold items. My Pokemon can't be at a higher level than the next gym leaders or the Elite Four's highest level Pokemon. And if my whole team faints, I have to redo the entire challenge. I must emphasize that my AI will only take over for trainer battles. This means I'll still have to do everything else, including playing in the overworld and catching encounters. Additionally, my AI doesn't know how to continue a battle that has already started. So in the interest of my time and sanity, if my AI stops working properly during a battle, I'll redo the battle rather than begin a new attempt. I start by naming my player Red with a 3 because it fits the machine theme. Then, I name my rival Blue, which stands for, battles like ugly eggs. Yeah, I definitely didn't make that up on the spot. After entering Kanto, I immediately open the options. I keep the text speed at medium so my AI has more time to read text. My AI uses Tesseract, which is an optical character recognition engine that extracts text from images. This enables my AI to read Pokemon names, levels, and everything in the text box. By the way, since I coded my AI to identify Pokemon by their regular names, I won't nickname my Pokemon. Furthermore, battle messages make up most of a battle's text. So to ensure my AI reads them, I trained a new Tesseract model on 139 black and white screenshots of battle messages. This required me to spend hours going over 2,000 characters and correcting my model. I also horizontally compressed the training images to discourage my model from identifying small gaps in between characters as spaces. With the medium text speed, my AI has time to capture screenshots, make them look like the training images, and process text. As a result, my AI can know what events happened and respond appropriately. However, I can't speed up battles, which is why I don't want to start new attempts after my AI stops working properly. On top of that, my trained model can't accurately read Pokemon names, moves, and levels since they're in a different font from battle messages. Luckily, for Pokemon names and moves, which are limited in number and specific, I can match the pre-trained Tesseract model's output to the most similar Pokemon term. For levels, I can replace incorrect characters in the pre-trained model's output with the correct number. After changing to set mode, I switched to a pink frame because it's distinct from the gold navy box. When a certain pixel turns pink, my AI knows to collect preliminary information about each Pokemon in battle and use the keyboard to select a move. Once the pink disappears, my AI starts reading and processing battle events. My AI then selects a move again if the pink reappears. Basically, my AI works as a giant loop that only stops when the battle ends. Let's continue. After Professor Oak saves me, I select Bulbasaur since it matches up well against the first two gyms. Next, I enter the first battle. The light blue border tells my AI that it's in the tutorial fight and to press A until the border disappears. Instead of a damaging move, my AI selects a status move in Growl because my opponent's level is greater than or equal to mine. My strongest move, Tackle, does less than 50% of the opponent's current HP. the opponent's strongest move, Scratch, does less than or equal to 1/3 of my current HP, and Scratch is physical. The first 3 conditions apply to using any status move that doesn't directly heal the user, and the last condition applies to using status moves like Growl that help the user take physical hits by lowering the target's attack or raising the user's defense. By the way, the shown stat stages from left to right are attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. Once Charmander's attack fell, my AI began selecting my strongest available move to apply the most damage. However, Bulbasaur misses a tackle, which means Charmander will likely KO Bulbasaur first and end attempt 1. Luckily, a critical hit changes the course of the battle, and Bulbasaur wins. Attempt 1 isn't done yet. When a trainer loses and the screen fades to black, my AI shuts itself down. Pretty neat. I then catch a bird, a rat, and a caterpillar before fighting Blue again. During this battle, I'm going to explain other information that my AI collects. My AI obtains the percentage of each Pokemon's HP by dividing the length of the HP bar's non-dark gray section by the bar's entire length. However, the results aren't always 100% accurate. While my AI can read my HP's numbers, its reading is even less accurate. My AI also uses the Pi Pokédex library to build a predicted opponent's moveset, which consists of the opponent's 4 most recent level up moves. After the opponent uses a move for the first time, the move gets recorded in a list of the opponent's actual moves. Once the actual list has 4 items, my AI will get damage calculations for moves from that list instead of both the predicted and actual lists. But where do the damage calculations come from? Well, for damage calculations, my AI turns to Pokemon Showdown's damage calculator. However, my AI can't directly get calculations because my AI is in Python, and getting calculations requires JavaScript, which is a different programming language. It's like me speaking Gen Alpha slang to a boomer. I'll just sound Delulu to the boomer. Fortunately, this code enables my AI to obtain an output from my calculator file and convert the output into Python. Thank you, subprocess. All those hours I spent searching for you on the internet were worth it. In my damage calculations, Pokemon don't have EVs or badge boosts, so I give 31 IVs to my Pokemon and usually 9 IVs to the opponent to reflect my Pokemon stats typically having higher boosts. Furthermore, I assume the opponent's attacks get the max damage roll, while my Pokemon's attacks get the minimum roll. This helps my AI reduce the risk of losing my Pokemon. Additionally, the damage calculator gives each Pokemon speed. My AI then uses each Pokemon's speed and strongest move along with other factors to make decisions like whether to switch or attack. Blue proceeds to get salty again. Next, I catch a rare Pikachu and get past some bug catchers in Viridian Forest. By the way, why do the catchers have nets when they can already catch Pokemon with Pokeballs? Anyhow, I face Brock and Vine Whip takes care of Geodude. After that, Brock sends out a level 14 Onix. Sorry, my bad, it's a level 1 Omanyte. But both Pokemon are weak to grass, so Omanyte easily faints, and my AI wins my first badge. My next key addition to my roster is Geodude in Mount Moon. It does well against common types like Normal, Flying, and Electric. Then, I make my way past Team Rocket, pick up the all-powerful Helix Fossil, and accidentally start my third rival battle. However, before the battle begins, I need to explain how my AI switches Pokemon. The primary scenario where my AI wants to switch is when my Pokemon has little to no chance of KOing the opponent first, and my Pokemon is in range to be KO'd from a critical hit. To help determine the best switch option, my AI ranks my party members that aren't in battle by defensive type relationships first, then offensive type relationships, and finally, HP percentage. In this ranking system, a defensive type relationship is how well my Pokemon takes the opponent's strongest move, while an offensive type relationship is how well my Pokemon's typing damages the opponent. Next, my AI checks my party members for certain conditions starting from first place. If my Pokemon in battle is alive, my AI sends out a Pokemon that resists or is immune to the opponent's strongest move, deals at least neutral damage with its typing to the opponent, and has above 25% HP. If that switch option doesn't exist, my AI sends out a Pokemon that takes neutral damage from the opponent's strongest move, deals at least neutral damage with its typing to the opponent, and has above 50% HP. However, if none of those switch options exist, my Pokemon in battle stays in. Finally, if my Pokemon in battle has fainted, my AI just sends out the Pokemon with the typing that best takes the opponent's strongest move. Okay, let's continue. After Pidgeotto and Ivysaur exchange hits, Ivysaur could feint to a Gust crit, and it doesn't outspeed and KO Pidgeotto, so my AI switches to Geodude. From there, Geodude takes out Blue's team. So far, Blue has truly battled like ugly eggs. Then, I challenge Misty. After Staryu falls to Vine Whip, Starmie is sent out. Since the conditions are met for using status moves, Ivysaur uses Growl. However, Ivysaur has another status move in Leech Seed, so it uses that before Vine Whip. Eventually, Ivysaur defeats Starmie and wants to learn Razor Leaf. My AI decides whether a new move should be learned by scoring my Pokemon's 5 moves based on factors like power, accuracy, type, and my Pokemon stats. Additionally, my AI is heavily discouraged from learning self-KO moves. In this situation, Razor Leaf gets points for being a decently strong grass move, but it misses out on points for not having 100% accuracy. After the scores are completed, the new move will only replace a move that has a lower or equal score. My AI first looks to replace the lowest scoring known move that's similar to the new move. If the similar move doesn't exist or it has a higher score than the new move, my AI looks to replace the overall lowest scoring known move. Since Razor Leaf and Vine Whip are both grass direct damaging moves and Razor Leaf scores higher, Razor Leaf replaces Vine Whip. I receive another badge and change my code so that my strongest move has to do less than or equal to 1/3 of the opponent's current HP instead of less than 50% to satisfy my strongest move's damage condition for using status moves. This encourages my AI to more often select damaging moves. Against the second trainer on Nugget Bridge, Geodude takes a Sand attack and an Absorb. Rather than switching out, Geodude keeps using Rock Throw because my AI sees that Geodude outspeeds and KOs the remaining opposition. However, without even including the Sand attack drop, Rock Throw has 90% accuracy, which is basically 50% in Pokemon. If Geodude misses, it could get hit by a grass move and I could lose a valuable team member. Thankfully, the 2-armed rock pulls through. After more battles and getting the SS ticket, I go to grab my Route 25 encounter. Oh dear, Abra, I only have one chance to catch it before it uses teleport. Let's go! Using the SS ticket, I board the SS Anne where I meet Blue. Pikachu handles Pidgeotto and Geodude beats Raticate. After Geodude exchanges hits with Charmeleon, my AI switches to Gyarados, which tackles the fire reptile to the ground. Unfortunately, thanks to Charmeleon's smokescreen, Kadabra dodges Gyarados' attacks. but that only delays my AI's victory. Next, I obtain Cut to enter the Vermilion Gym. Inside, I solve the gym's annoying switch puzzle and take on Lieutenant Surge. Diglett destroys Voltorb and Pikachu with its signature Dig. However, Raichu raises its evasion by using Double Team, gets off a quick attack, and avoids fainting thanks to the evasion boost. On this turn, my AI sees that Diglett outspeeds and KOs Raichu, but my AI doesn't know that quick attack has priority, allowing Raichu to strike first. Luckily, Diglett survives and finishes the fight for my third badge. After navigating past the dark rock tunnel, I reach the spooky Lavender Town. Then, I travel to Celadon City, grab Eevee, head back to Lavender to take care of a revenge-seeking Blue, and challenge Erica in Celadon. Kadabra turns Erica's plants into compost, and I now have 4 badges. I subsequently enter the Rocket's hideout in the game corner, and since Giovanni's Pokemon are weak to fighting, Primeape easily handles them. Next, I get the Sylph Scope to defeat Marowak in the Pokemon Tower, and my AI beats Team Rocket again. In return, I receive the Pokeflute, allowing me to catch Snorlax on Route 16. After getting Surf in the Safari Zone and Strength from the Warden, I face Fuchsia City's gym leader, Koga. Kadabra one-shots Coughing. Then, my AI switches to Graveler against Muck. Unfortunately, Muck, like the piece of grime it is, starts using Minimize. These evasion boosts, combined with acid armor, make Muck extremely difficult for Graveler to defeat. But to make matters worse, Graveler gets poisoned by sludge. Thankfully, an eventual crit ends Muck's painfully long stalling. After that, my AI sends Kadabra back out to finish off Koga's team, earning me another badge. With the guard no longer thirsty thanks to the tea that I got from Celadon, I enter Saffron City. Then, I quickly reach Blue by taking a shortcut in Sylph Co. Raichu beats Pidgeot, Gyarados, and Execute. After that, Snorlax uses its body fat to crush Alakazam, but not before Alakazam sets up Reflect, so Snorlax handles Charizard with Yawn and Body Slam. Next, I pick up Lapras and take on Giovanni. Nidoking defeats its immediate pre-evolution, then Kangaskhan falls to Brick Break and Poison. Afterward, Nidoking hails Rhyhorn, and Graveler takes care of Nidoking's female counterpart. I'm sorry, Nidoking, for having to put you through that family drama. Now that Team Rocket is out of Saffron City, I challenge Sabrina. Although her Pokemon can be scary with their psychic moves and high special attack stats, my bulky powerful Snorlax comfortably beats them. Badge 6 is now mine. I then get rejected by Coughing in the Pokemon Mansion before picking up the secret key and unlocking the Cinnabar Gym. Inside, Golduck douses Blaine's fire types for my 7th badge. After an accidental detour with a Bike Gang and a Hypno, I meet Giovanni again in the Viridian Gym. Several surfs later, my AI is victorious. With all 8 badges in my possession, I head to the Pokemon League. So far, you might think that giving my AI control over trainer battles would generally make me relax during them. But actually, watching my AI is generally nerve-wracking because I can't step in and fight for it even if it's losing a battle. I also get anxiety from wondering whether my AI will encounter more issues since I never tested it this far into the game. On my way, Blue challenges me to another fight. Raichu zaps Pidgeot and exchanges hits with Rhyhorn. Then, Gyarados is unleashed and it goes on a rampage, defeating Rhyhorn, Execute, Alakazam, and Gyarados. After Charizard and Gyarados weaken each other, my AI switches to Raichu, which hangs on and finishes off Charizard to extend my AI's winning streak against Blue. Following the battle, I adjust my code so that if my Pokemon resists or is immune to the opponent's strongest move, it has to have at least 33% HP instead of above 25% to meet the HP condition for switching in for an alive Pokemon. This makes those switch options less likely to faint after being sent out. I also removed the level condition for using status moves to give my Pokemon more freedom to set up. After that, I get past Victory Road and start preparing for the Pokemon League. I catch Magneton in the power plant and evolve Eevee into Vaporeon. Next, I make money from trainer fights and selling items to buy TMs from the game corner. Then, I use the TMs and EV train my team. I also modify my code so that if my Pokemon takes neutral damage from the opponent's strongest move, it has to have at least 60% HP instead of above 50% to satisfy the HP condition for switching in for an alive Pokemon. The main purpose of this change is to make my AI switch less and be more offensive, which is further helped by the previous HP code change. Finally, in the damage calculations, I give the Elite Fours and Champions Pokemon 15 IVs instead of 9 to reflect them having IVs that are higher than or equal to those of every past trainer Pokemon. With my final team of Venusaur, Kadabra, Vaporeon, Snorlax, Lapras, and Magneton, my AI is ready for the Pokemon League Gauntlet. Will my AI succeed? Will my AI go deathless? Well, there's only one way to find out. The first trainer in the gauntlet is Lorelei, whose team Lapras takes care of, mostly thanks to Thunderbolt. Then, Kadabra sends Bruno's Pokemon flying with Psychic. For Agatha, I gave Kadabra Speed EVs to outspeed and sweep her team. In no time, I reach Lance. Lapras attacks first thanks to its Speed EVs and KOs Gyarados. Next, Lance sends out Aerodactyl, which can become a problem if it gets an Omni Boost from Ancient Power. Thankfully, Aerodactyl doesn't get any boosts, and Lapras lands a Surf before Ice Beaming its way to victory. After the fight, I teach Snorlax Earthquake in place of Brick Break. Then, I meet my rival Blue, except he's no longer just my rival. He's also the champion. My AI starts with Lapras, which has enough speed and special attack EVs to outspeed and KO Pidgeot. In the following turns, Rhydon falls to Surf, Executor to Ice Beam, and Alakazam to Body Slam. This battle is surely going to be a breeze. Next up is Gyarados. Since my AI sees that Gyarados outspeeds and defeats Lapras with Hyper Beam, it switches to Magneton. However, despite Hyper Beam being one of the last 4 level up moves that Gyarados learns by level 61, Blue's Gyarados doesn't know it. And here begins the switch loop of hell. My AI sees that Gyarados outspeeds and KOs Magneton with a Hydro Pump crit, so in comes Venusaur. Then, my AI sees that Gyarados defeats Venusaur with a Hyper Beam crit, so it sends out Magneton. Luckily, I prepared for a potential switch loop by limiting my AI to 3 switches. But the question is, will my Pokemon survive by the time my AI stops switching? Otherwise, the switch limit resets if one of my Pokemon faints, and my AI could lose from being stuck in a switch loop. After the 3rd switch, none of my Pokemon faint. Finally, my AI commands Magneton to unleash a Thunderbolt, which will KO Gyarados and get my AI one step closer. Oh no. My AI then switches between Venusaur and Snorlax before going to Kadabra since it has a higher HP percentage than Snorlax. However, Blue must have read my AI's mind because Gyarados changes from spamming Dragon Rage to using Thrash and takes out one of the MVPs of my team. Not good. Instead of Snorlax, my AI sends out Venusaur again. This happened because while Venusaur's and Snorlax's typings both deal neutral damage to Gyarados, Venusaur has more offensive type relationships against Gyarados than Snorlax. But my AI just ends up switching to Snorlax, wasting a turn. Since Venusaur and Lapras don't have high enough HP and Vaporeon's water typing is resisted by Gyarados, Snorlax stays in. After an exchange of hits, Snorlax is at low HP. My AI's defeat is surely close. But then, Gyarados hurts itself in confusion and Snorlax hits a body slam crit. No way did that just happen. Blue sends out his final Pokemon, Charizard. My AI switches to Vaporeon and the Water Evolution extinguishes the Fire Dragon with Surf. At last, my AI can call itself the conqueror of FireRed's trainer AI. What a journey, from building my AI to completing the Hardcore Nuzlocke. Looking back, I should have lowered the switch limit to at least 2, maybe even 1, right before I challenged the champion, since only one of my Pokemon needs to survive by the end of the battle. This would have allowed Magneton to stay in after the Lapras switch and possibly KO Gyarados. I also can't emphasize enough that comprehensively testing code or anything else is important to ensuring it works. Since attempt 1 was the first time I played through FireRed's main story with my AI had many issues. As a result, I had to redo battles many times. Additionally, thanks to the Nuzlocke, I gained more appreciation for several Pokemon such as Graveler, Kadabra, Lapras, and Snorlax. Now, how would I evaluate my AI? I would call it a success. The fact that I was able to apply my Pokemon and programming knowledge to build an AI that's more capable than just mashing A is already a big deal to me. Not to mention that it of course succeeded in defeating the trainers that it battled in the Nuzlocke. Anyway, thank you for watching. This video took a lot of time and effort to make as I worked on it over several years. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, comment on what you would like to see next. Alright, bye.